Hey, hi everyone. As you know, my name is Robin. I'm a senior business analyst in GeekyAnts. And thank you, Rusha, for that wonderful session. And this is my first meetup, and also this is my first meetup as a speaker as well. So I think it was a very great practical session, and I will dive you guys into some theoretical knowledge now, some gyans flowing all over. So get ready. And so today I will be speaking about API banking. So how API banking is moving from a tech essential part to become a business priority, right? So this is my QR, and I guess this is a fourth or fifth. I don't know which number of QR code it is. So you can scan it, and this is my LinkedIn profile. It will be great. We can connect, and let's move ahead. Okay, so this term is not new for everyone because I believe everyone is from a tech background, and those who are not from tech background, they also have heard about this. If you guys are in IT industry, what is an API, right? So API full form is a application programming interface, right? It creates a bridge between a front end and a back end, right? Where the backend developers they develop the APIs and the front end developers they take that API, whatever the UI screen they have developed, they integrate it with those APIs, right? So that we can have a clear connection from the database, right? Think it as of in a restaurant when a customer orders a food, right? There is a waiter who takes the order, right? And then the waiter goes with that particular request, goes to the chef. The chef creates that menu, whatever the menu the customer has ordered, and the waiter comes back with that particular food, right? And the customers enjoys it, right? That's an API, right? It's a very simple layman term API definition, right? In technical terms, it's very safe to define that API is a collection of rules. It's a protocols and tools that allows distinct software solution to communicate and perform a series of tasks. So this is what API is, right? Now, why I'm talking about API, right? So the next slide, what is API banking, correct? So, API banking is a software, right, that allows users to access financial services within a non-tech software solution that allows business that is not part of fintech industry, but they are not a financial institution as well to provide a diverse financial services within the apps or platform, right? So, how it works? So, they will have a certain third parties and they will be integrating them with their own applications that is called banking APIs, right? They will take requests from their own applications for the customers which they are providing. They will take the response from the banking service provider that are being held by the third parties. Okay. So this is what API banking is. Now let's dive into some use cases of API banking to understand how this API banking works, right? So we have a company called as Solaris, right? So they are the largest banking API provider in their region. I think they're in Europe, and these services include banking as a service solution with full banking licenses they are having, right? They have a very big client named Samsung. I hope you guys are using their phones. You guys have heard about them, right? So they're not a financial institution, as you guys know, right? And they don't hold any banking licenses, right? But still, they have a wallet system, right? Where the customers they use their wallet, they transfer their money, right? They store that money and they use it for different purpose. So from being a different industry, right? How are they using the financial services, right? So they were using their solution or the feature was called as Samsung Pay. Now it's called Samsung Wallet. I think the people who are using Samsung phones right now they will have that feature. So using the wallet, the customers can have a secure digital wallet that allows them to store data, do payments, right? Do every financial transactions and everything using that wallet, right? Now, how is it possible, right? So the question is, how is it possible that a company without a license offers banking services while a company with a full banking services, right? So this is how it's done, right? So this is a quite use case of a API banking where what Samsung has done is they have integrated the Solaris company, right? Their APIs, what they are providing, they have all the licenses. So whenever they receive an application, right, from a customer to request to open a bank, right, bank account, right? So the customer, whenever they're requesting, they may also not know which bank they're opening their account, right? So based on whatever the bank integrations or the bank that Solaris APIs are providing, they have collaborated with. Within those banks, they will take the response from the bank and they will create the customer bank account within those particular wallet of Samsung, right? Now, for verifying, obviously, we have the API's key and also the data exchange by reading the data from the bank or performing action or for opening a bank account is one of the examples that I've spoken about, right? So once the bank processes a request, the banking API sends a response indicating it is a success or a failure based on the various criteria that the bank has set, right? And then once it's passes the next step, then the request goes back to Samsung wallet, which is also shown to the customer. So this is a typical example or a use case of how non-financial application or a non-fintech business uses a fintech solution by help of any third-party fintech solution providers. Right. And in the flow diagram also you can see the various text that is written. It's in a flow diagram where you can see the customer raises a request, it goes to a decision point where it's yes or no. If it is no, then it is invalid. It shows the invalid process, and if it is yes, then it goes to the Solaris bank system, and then the open bank account processes the request, send response to the Samsung wallet, and then the result is shown to the customer. So let's move to so this is a conclusion. So how the company like Samsung, as I told, right, uses this solution with Solaris. So through API integration, it provides a very good opportunity or option. And in India, I think this kind of solution is given by Razorpay, right? Razorpay is there where many applications like my whatever projects that I'm involved in, and where we have multiple non-fintech applications where users have wallet system, they have payment integrations inbuilt in their application. They want to develop those things, right? So we always use Razorpay is a very good platform that provides it, and also with all the services, it's very fine and it's very easy to integrate also the APIs. I hope people who have worked with Razorpay APIs and with Razorpay services, they know about it. And next is so there is a very thin line. Like people get confused between API banking and open banking, right? They are different, right? I used to think they are not different, but they are different. There is a very thin line between API banking and open banking. So let's see what the difference is. So we'll figure out first. Let's see what is the focus of both the terms, right? So API banking, they focus on the technical aspect of using API, and open banking is something where they take the consent from customer and from the banking, or so any third party, say any non financial application, right, that wants to see the customer data from the banks that is stored, right? They take the consent, and the banks share those data through APIs to that particular institution or that industry or the application that is requesting, right? So, what is the scope? So, the scope for API banking is broader, and it includes both internal and external applications. And open banking is only specific applications where the data sharing is happening via API. What is the goal of these two? So, API banking, it enables the communication and data exchange, and for open banking, it's provide innovation, competition, customer empowerment. Right? So a typical example would be a bank using APIs for internal processes, and then for open banking, third-party app accessing customer data through a bank's API. Now, next is what is the business need of API banking, right? So, using API banking, it offers users a real-time access to all the transactions and the application, thus forming a very cohesive ecosystem, right? Facilitate accesses to multiple application and prompts the development time. Also, it boosts connectivity, various transaction and financial account, allows more traffic to be the brand and more access to the customer data. It also lessens many administrative hurdles like checking credit worthiness and applying for loans and etc. So if you have seen any particular fintech application where you can check your credit score, right? And how they are checking the credit score, right? So they use this particular functionality where this terminology that is API banking, through which you can go and you can check your credit worthiness in minute of seconds, right? More business use case where it provides opportunity to business to generate more revenues by increasing customer reach, right? It also provides better reimbursement solution for business since they can use the payment products at lower cost, improve cash flow, and reduce fraud and increase control and visibility. Also, during the fiscal management for customers, because of API banking, it can analyze all the finances coming in and coming out, right? And from the customer account, and it can provide and it can give you the data of how much you have spent and how much you can save, right? And that's a very good use. I think everybody needs that, right? At this moment of time. And also it's a very provides a very good account aggregation by putting various accounts into one place, so the customer don't need to log in to multiple accounts. They can just switch and they can just use it, right? So these are the business use cases of using API banking. Okay, let's deep dive into some technical discussion, right? So how API banking architectural diagram a typical architecture diagram shows, right? So, as you can see in the diagram, so we have different layers, right? The first is the presentation layer where it's the user interface, right? From where it goes to the middleware layer where all the business logics are stored, correct? Then we have the backend layer where the core banking services, basically within the banking services, whatever the criterias they have, the logics they have, the whatever the rules that they have created, it's stored in that backend layer itself. Then we have the integration layer where the integration is happening with the APIs, and then we have the APIs. So the different type of APIs that is, it's just an example that is say payment API, then fraud detection API, account management API, and then KYC API. So these have a different layer where it is stored and then it is passed to the API gateway. Within API gateway, the function happens that is the authentication, authorization, the rate limiting, and also logging and monitoring the activities. These things happens, and then we publish the banking APIs to the any fintech solution or any application that uses it. So let's understand. So this is a typical diagram of a architectural diagram. So let's see what all protocols that APIs follows within the API banking, right? So it's a layered architecture, and in this layered architecture, the protocols that are used are listed over here. That is REST, SOAP, GraphQL, gRPC, and WebSocket. And if you can see in the diagram how the interaction is happening between all the protocols of the API. So this is how any API banking, typical API banking solutions or the services provided. So I'll quickly move into the discussion about what kind of architecture structure is normally preferred in banking API, right? API banking. In modern API banking, microservices, I hope you all know about microservices and monolithic, right? So normally microservices architecture is preferred because in increasing preferred over monolithic architecture because it allows scalability, right? It allows flexibility, and also it's very easy in order for the development and managing complex banking solutions, right? But still in some of the I would say legacy, right? I'm just moving into the next slide quickly. Why some of the legacy fintech application that has been developed say about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they still use monolithic architecture. But the preferred one is always microservice because of the independent services that the microservice provide, and it's very easy to develop, deploy. Then the API communication is also very well defined, well structured, and it's also improves the agility of any functionality within those particular architecture. But there are, as I said, some cases where normally clients we have dealt, we have also dealt with some enterprise client where they don't want to change the architecture because it's a whole lot of hustle for them and also a big effort that it's there. But some of the legacy system has monolithic architecture and it's all in the old banking system. And the best example is if you have seen our own bank, right? SBI, CBI, Central Bank of India, and all, they all have this monolithic architecture system within their particular application, whatever the digital application you interact with them. So also monolithic is also preferred for any small fintech solution if you want to build, right? Because creating a microservice kind of architecture, it needs time, it needs effort, right, in order to set up each and everything. But monolithic is very quick. uh, for any simple banking application with limited functionality, monolithic is something that normally the business team or the development team they prefer it, right? Here's a small example of a diagram where how user request, how it supports to a architecture monolithic application, data access, how it interacts with the database, then the response comes, and then again it goes to the user. Okay. Now, since we are talking about API banking, so nothing is perfect, right? There will be challenges, right, in every implementation or every technology that is coming, right? So let's discuss about 10 challenges that I figured out. It's there in the API banking domain and also the solutions that can be there, right? So the first challenge is obviously security and compliances, right? Since a fintech is a very growing field at the moment, right? If you are following the news and everything in UAE region, right? Fintech is growing a lot. So lot of business owners they are moving towards developing some solutions in the UAE region, and also because of some, I think they have got some permissions from the government also to allow having the fintech solutions for their own public, right? But in India, so India is a leader in fintech domain, and many clients and it's the best example, right? The UPI, right? We are not using any. currency note, right? At the moment, everyone is using phone. So India is a leader in the fintech domain, and also this API banking solution is also that is something that is coming from India as well. So it's a good and proud moment for Indians to be leaders of the world in the fintech, and many people around the world they are looking for coming to India for the fintech solutions and implementing it in their own countries, right? So let's come back to the challenges, the security compliance. How to mitigate these challenges is to implement the HTTPS and then OAuth and JWT token for secure communications, then ensuring that everything is under the compliances, and fintech projects are too much heavily dependent on the compliance part because nothing can be developed or deployed without any compliance check. It's a very strict thing, and it also requires a lot of research and efforts. And so, one of my past experience of developing a say, we were developing a lending application, right, for for a client, right, and based on developing that lending application, I like personally I have to go through last 10 years of RBI rules and everything what they have listed down to in order to get the correct compliance list. And also there are like 30 to 40 licenses that any business owner needs to apply and get that in order to launch a fintech application in India. So imagine that's like in fintech domain, launching an application is very tough. So compliance plays a very i- crucial part. And same goes with any other country or any other region. And also regularly updating the security measures, right? Because it's a fintech, right? Finance are involved. Any bug, anything that's hampering, it's a big loss for anyone. So yeah. Second is the data accuracy and reliability. So using correct data validation, cleansing it, transformation processes is something that we can mitigate in this. And then standardized format of to accommodate different bank data structures. So data structure is also a very big challenge because say if any enterprise or any old banking system has come to us for having their banking system to evolve, or say introducing any new solution, right? So the data structure that they have used in their legacy platform, say around 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's very like normally it requires a lot of effort for any new development team to just first check that, understand those things, and then either you revamp those data or the codes that are written in the structure and then integrate it, or then keep on go with the development in order to introduce those features. So data accuracy and reliability is a big challenge. Second is the scalability and performance, right? Now it's also one of the challenge because um, normally whatever the solutions in fintech that we build, right, we need to keep in mind that whatever we are building, it needs to be scalable because with the evolve of technology, anything can come, right? If you guys have noticed, as in a previous thing, Rushav has also shown us, right, how to create agent, right? I've not seen any agent coming into fintech domain right now because of the data privacy, because of the structure and the performance issue, right? So maybe it can come in next 5 years, but right now fintech domain are resisting using AI everywhere. So if you see AI anywhere in the fintech applications, it will be mainly for say chatbots, not giving you any kind of suggestions around the. I think there are some applications that are getting developed where it can suggest how much you have saved, how much you can invest, and all. But it's very difficult, right? Say let's take an example of stock market, right? Stock market, if we have a AI solution, it will be so easy for the people to learn about stock market and also analyzing the trend and everything. So there are some solutions that are getting built, but it's not live right now. It's for the people who are building it because it's a very different domain where everyone has a different mindset of investment, have a different strategy. So build a AI bot or an agent in order to get that data set in order to first start off with. It's also very difficult. So yeah, I think that it can be a future right now, but it's not at the moment and present. Then we have vendor selection and collaboration. This is also an operational challenge where we need to, whenever we are developing anything, right, we need to access the vendors' technical capabilities, security, and reliability because anyone does a data leak, it's a big risk for any fintech application. So it's a very challenging thing, and also need to establish a clear communication and the expectation of the frameworks that we are collaborating with the vendor, right? In this way we can mitigate this, and also standardizing the particular format of the what the work is, right, the project is all about. So I think there is a open banking APIs for ISO 20022, and in order they have created a list of rules that needs to be there, and it's also follows other industry standard to smooth the integration across different systems. Let's move to the monitoring and error handling. So whatever the solutions we are building within the API banking needs to have a real-time monitoring tool. So that whatever the integrations, the APIs, whatever has been integrated, the codes that has been written needs to be monitored all the time, so that if there is any bug, any security attack, cyber attack, that can be mitigated immediately. Also, a robust error handling mechanism is also to ensure high availability of it, and also continuous integration, agile development, right? So we know that everything changes so fast, right? So in fintech domain also, this continuous integration and agile method is something, it's a bit of challenge over here. So in order to mitigate this, like, we need to automate the CI/CD pipelines, right, to enable iterative improvement and rapid issue resolutions. And also the fintech, many of the fintech solutions has been built on a waterfall method. So if you guys know what waterfall is, where we don't go back, right? Whatever is defined needs to be developed, and then we need to deploy it. So many fintech solutions, maybe the upcoming fintech projects that I'm handling right now, we are seeing a agile method approach where we are doing a POC, then we check the solution. If it is working, then we build it. If it is not working, anything changes, expectation changes, we move back, we again build it from scratch. So I think that method, that approach is right now the fintech domain is accepting it. Data privacy and consent management is something, it's a very important thing where we need to implement a consent management. So every fintech application, wherever you go, you will see a consent management form. You need to give your consent that the application will take your data, use your data, and it will share the data, right? So better you read those consent form. It's a long form, I know many people skip it, but you read it thoroughly, because you will find many things over there where the data is getting shared. So better you read that. And it also enforces a strict data privacy policy to comply with regulations and also maintain customer trust, right? So if you see in any consent form, it is sharing data apart from the within the environment, do raise a customer account. In RBI has given a very good customer help in the finance sector, where you can go to their website, you can just raise a concern, and they take it very seriously, right? So please do that if you feel any discrepancy. And also testing and validation, where we need to continuously test the solutions that we has been provided, so that it's securely integrated, it's functional, and it's performing at its best, right? And also validating the data accuracy to prevent any financial risk. The last thing is change management and organizational culture, right? So people who are from the business background, say from the project management side, or from the stakeholder side, or from development team as well, like change management is a curse, right? I If people are having that particular, the people who are smiling, I think they will relate to it, that whenever we are developing something, then there is a requirement change, right? And then that's the thing that we need to again discuss, they need to plan, and then we need to again implement, right? So a proper training, clear communication, and a stakeholder involvement is something that we can mitigate it. I know this can't be mitigated for a long time. It's something that will happen because things changes once it starts. So, but we can at least try to implement these things, so that before jumping into anything, everything is clear, everything is documented, and we have a proper project plan before doing anything. So also fostering a culture of innovation to ease adoption, right? So this is also a very good part, where innovation mindset, right? Innovators mindset needs to be there for in order to bring new solutions in this particular domain. So yeah, these were the challenges and the solutions that we discussed. Let's talk about some market analysis of API banking. So there are four market solution providers who have given their data, right, about this API banking, how rapidly it is growing. If you can see the graph, right? So one of the market provider, that is Spherical Insights, have given that it will grow, this industry will grow from 20.35 billion to, in 2025 it was 20.35 billion, it will grow up to 140.45 billion by 2033, right? In 10 to 15 years, this particular domain is growing. And even you can see many of the people, many uh, domains, the business owners who are into different industry, they are moving towards fintech. As one of the example I said, right? Take a use case of UAE, right? Over there, if you go and you if you scroll through their articles, news, many business owners are moving towards fintech. They want to build something. Say they want to build a vendor management system through fintech solution. They want to build something called same similar to what we have built, right? Some like Google Pay. So these are the examples are there, and there is a reason why it's going, and why we have the market analysts have expected or forecasted this particular metrics, right? And I will soon discuss about the reasons. So these are the key drivers why it is a big market right now. So obviously, because the increase of smartphone adoption, right? Everyone has smartphone. People who don't have smartphone, I think they live in jungle, I guess, because everyone is using smartphone and people are using digital banking, and everyone is associated with the fintech solutions that are there, right? Then bank app popularity, the increasing of popularity of bank app fuels. So if you guys have noticed from last 2 to 3 years, right? I don't know if you guys were using ICICI Bank iMobile app 3 4 years ago, right? It was a very bad user experience, very bad UI. It was there, like if you click something, it will take years to get the page to be refreshed and then giving us the solution. But check the ICICI Bank iMobile application right now. It's so robust. Why they have done that? Because they have seen the popularity of their applications, right? If because this is the younger generation, right? The generation who are coming into the market, who are coming into the job field, right? From last 5 to 6 years, everyone is on smartphone. Everybody, nobody wants to go to bank actually. Everyone wants their bank on their fingertip, right? So that is the reason they have they have enhanced the user experience. They have created new solutions, new workflows into their application. And it is not only with ICICI Bank. You check any bank, SDFC, apart from SBI. I don't know why they are not doing it, but maybe uh, apart from, I am fed up of SBI Bank, and they force you people to come to their bank, but I think they should adopt it and they should at least come to the private sector for that solution, because maybe they are giving it to the government. It's not happening, but all the private national banks are there, like ICICI Bank, SDFC Bank. They have a very good application and very good user experience. Also, because of fintech partnership between fintech companies and traditional banks also are boosting a very big growth in the API banking market, right? Uh, Typical use case that we discuss about the Samsung and the Solaris. So that's an example. Well, thank you. Thank you for your patience.